Good morning. Good afternoon. I see where you getting candy from. Open the door. Open the door. Oh my God. Open the door. Open the door. Where you gonna get candy from?
Here,
Where?
in the cabinet.
Who told you some candy in the cabinet?
I got my own candy.
Where?
You.
How you know you still got candy?
I don't know.
Oh,
Do I?
good afternoon. Oh, let me turn this thing around for somebody to see me looking like um oh yeah. Give me a minute, okay? I'm coming. How's everybody doing? Do me a favor, hit the like button. Ain't that what they say on here? As you come in, hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. Thank you. Hopefully, I say something today that will help you in life. No, I'm just kidding. I hope everyone is having a blessed day so far, as I am. Haven't done much today, but wanted to come on here and chit chat a little bit. I've been thinking about shoes all morning. Go figure. But yeah, life is pretty good right now. I feel like I'm doing a vlog on life. I'm just sitting here chilling, talking. Like, yeah, life is pretty good right now, and I won't complain. I'm excited for what is to come because I don't know if you guys believe it, but I feel like whatever is today, it could be bad or it could be good. But regardless of which one it is, it can always be better. So I'm always looking forward to the better of things. So if I'm good right now, I'm looking forward to getting gooder. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Richard Flower. How are you? Yeah, if it's good right now, I'm looking for the gooder. And most will say, gooder ain't a word. Well, it is today. Life is good, and I'm excited about the gooder. I'm good. No, I haven't heard Eminem's song. I haven't heard Eminem's song since I don't know when, honestly. Okay, I see new people coming in. This is a positive channel, basically, for those that don't know. It's a positive channel. We just come on and talk a little bit about life, share encouragement, motivation. I'll check it out and all that good stuff. Hey, Storm Chaser. And just, vibe out. Yeah, I'm going to check it out. But, yeah, like I said, life is always lifing for many of us. We like to say that now. Oh, life be lifing. But there's never a moment where we can't stop to think that life could be better. Well, it's going to be better. I ain't gonna say it could be better. It always could be better, but it always gets better, is my main point. It always gets better. Almost like no matter what it looks like, it could be worse, but we focus on hey Miss Chicago. We focus on basically what we have faith in seeing, what we're believing for. So if you're believing for an abundance of things, then I believe that God loves us all, and read your Bible. But I love all people, so that's what I believe. That's a question that you honestly don't have to ask people or Christians, because everybody's going to come with their own way of, instead of just telling how it actually is. Read your Bible and love God. I'm not God, so he also says that I shouldn't fornicate. I'm not married, so I can't judge anybody. I just say we all have to get right sooner or later. You know what I mean? Well, like I said, we're always wanting more in life. If you're like me, you're setting goals on a daily and you're trying to reach them. And so I'm always living in an expected life. That's good. If you got a phone, you got a Bible. Everything is at our fingertips at this day and age. Yeah. I'm always setting goals and trying to reach them. So at the end of the day, I'm walking, and that's where I came up with my title. It's like, if the shoe fits. A lot of times we run around trying to figure out what it is we're supposed to be doing, what we're trying to do. I believe that, in a sense, you have a nice day too. Thank you for stopping by, TC. Appreciate you. In a sense, we all have a path we're on. We all have a journey that we are destined to go on, and we're on it. If you're alive, you're on this journey. And we all know that when we walk, when we leave the house, when we go out, dress nicely, whatever it is, we hope the Lord bless you today. I'm just scrolling through the shorts live and letting God in their stream. Thank you, Shy Guy. I wish the same for you as well. Blessings. I appreciate that more than you know, probably. Awesome. God bless you too, Rose. But we all have a walk that we're on. And when I was thinking about our walk, I thought about our shoes. If the shoe fits. A lot of times we're wondering what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Where should I be right now? And I think the revelation I got from if the shoe fits is to make sure that you have the proper footwear on when you um, begin to walk. Like when you're a baby. Let's use that for the first example. When you're a baby, of course, we don't start off walking, but you go through those stages. You begin to crawl. And once you get to a certain stage after crawling, you begin to stand and eventually take steps and walk. So if you're like, if your mom was like my mom was, you had to get the walking shoes. Nowadays, people don't buy their children walking shoes, they buy them Jordans and all that good stuff. But if you grew up with a mama like mine, you knew about Stride Right. And that was the ugly white shoes that babies wear with the hardwood bottoms, the flat bottoms. Those were the shoes, English. Those were the shoes that babies were supposed to wear. They had the pre-walkers and then they had the walkers. The pre-walkers, they didn't have such a hard sole, but it was like a hard plastic, like plastic type sole. But they were created. Hey Rachel, how you doing, girl? The pre-walker was created for when that child does start to stand and get ready for those first steps. And it was made to make sure that the feet were flat, because most time babies, if they haven't been taught to walk or been used to standing, they usually are on their toes. So these shoes were designed to keep their feet flat on the ground so they could have balance. So as they begin to walk, I want to say there was a couple of stages, but I know there were pre-walkers and the walkers. So then when you begin to take those steps and walk, you got a little older, then came the walking shoes. These shoes were specifically to aid in uh, a better walking experience for babies. So like I said, parents these days are putting Jordans and all types of other shoes on their kids because they're dressing them for style and not to prepare them for their walk. What you start out walking in will kind of shape your that sounds good. What you start out walking in will kind of shape your walk for the rest of the way. Does that walk change over time? Of course. When we was a baby, we walked like a baby. Then when we got a little older, we might have got a little pep in our step, or um, you begin to see that maybe that child walked just like dad or mom. Things like that. But needless to say, the shoes were important just as they are now. Like, I am a hairstylist by trade, so I stand on my feet. And having doing so, I don't necessarily wear the best shoes when I do hair, but there is really a need for a good shoe because it supports you as you stand. It supports your back. It's supposed to help you with comfort, to alleviate back pain, foot pain, to keep you level and balanced as you're styling hair. But like I said, I don't wear the best shoes. I just like to be comfortable. But I also work at Amazon. Now, at Amazon, it's a little different. A certain shoe is required. Hello, Yaxer. I don't know where you are, but good day. uh, a certain shoe is required. I have to wear a steel toe shoe or boot, and that's for protection. So as we're on a journey, we're going to go through a whole lot of different things in life. So, yes, we need that support from God. We need the protection from God. I work at Amazon and I deal with a lot of heavy objects, boxes. And if I lift a box and I lose grip on it and drop it with a regular shoe, that box could break my toe basically. So those shoes are for protection. And the sad thing, well, the bad thing, it could be sad. It makes me sad sometimes. But the bad thing about a steel toe shoe is you have to search them to find one that's comfortable. Because if you don't, they begin to bother your feet. They obstruct your standing, they obstruct your walk. Right now I'm in the process of trying to find some new ones because they tearing my feet up. But needless to say, I need a type of shoe for that part of my walk. So every day our walk consists of whatever our life consists of. It could be our parenting, it can be our work, it can be our social life. At any given moment, your walk doesn't change. You're still on this path, this journey. So, yeah, when we hang out, maybe go to happy hour, now we might change that shoe. And, because we about to walk, we stepping out, have a good time. So we're gonna put on the shoes that's cute, that match our outfit. But I guess my main point is that regardless of where you're going, what you're doing, if the shoe fits, that can be if the shoe fits. You know how we say if the shoe fits, wear it. Basically, like, okay, say you're on this journey and you're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. If the shoe fits, you must wear it. And you must move and operate in whatever that is you're doing. You got to help people. That's your shoe. That's funny. That's your shoe. So, hey, Brunilda. So you gonna walk with those shoes, and if you're not, pardon me, if you're not in the proper place or position, that shoe is not gonna fit well. It's like saying if I'm supposed to be okay, let's say right now on this journey, Brunilda and we might be on the same street, but at the same time, we have different walks. Say I'm supposed to be helping people, and he's supposed to be feeding. No, that's still helping people. Okay, let's say I'm supposed to be helping children, and he's supposed to be helping men. Brunilda can't put on my shoes to help men because those men are grown. And I can't put on his shoes to help those children because the obvious. So, like I said, if the shoe fits, a lot of times we're walking around trying to figure out our journey. Where am I supposed to be at? What am I supposed to be doing? And we're trying on different shoes daily, just trying to figure it out, just trying to keep going. And oftentimes I think that many of us have stepped into the wrong pair of shoes. You ever see somebody that's busy doing a whole lot of something and never getting anything done? We talked about that one day, how it talks about the busybody in the Bible. But you have a person that's they have a misunderstanding of what their purpose to do. So therefore they're trying to operate in a purpose that maybe they have observed another person do. They're not moving in their own lane. So those shoes are, let's say they're too big in this sense. We all know if you wear shoes too big, what is it going to do? It's going to obstruct your walk and you could possibly fall. Or maybe someone is way too cautious in their walk. So therefore they scale back and dumb down a little bit. A lot of people, I think, tend to dumb down because of fear. You know, maybe they don't feel that they're the one or they're equipped to do whatever it is they're supposed to be doing. So they'll go and put on a smaller pair of shoes, not to have to walk in exactly what they're supposed to be walking in. And once again, we know that if that shoe is indeed too small, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be painful, and eventually you're gonna take it off. So a lot of times, I think that what we think we aren't supposed to be doing, or we don't, I don't know why, I don't know how to do this. Those things that we think we can't do, and those things that it's funny because it's like the things you think you can't do, and the things that really, really just irritate the mess out of you. I think those are the areas we have solutions, and those are the areas where there are shoes that fit us lie. At this point, we must put on those shoes and begin to keep walking and move and do those things that we're supposed to do. I don't think we ever figure out our full purpose without our walk. Our walk is so important. So important. But the main part of your walk is that you walk. That's where God comes in with the guidance that he gives us. He moves us accordingly when we're alert, vigilant, paying attention, when we're seeking his face, when we're referring to his word. A lot of times we'll pick up the phone and call 5 friends. Girl, what you think about this? What do you think? When this happened, what you think that mean? A lot of times those are the moments when we're supposed to be going to God. But we gotten so used to going to other people. That's like having our shoes on, walking in our walk like we're supposed to be walking, and then come untied and we don't tie it up. That's like untying your shoe and walking. When you start asking everybody else except for the source, what's going to happen if you walk in that shoe long enough? You could possibly trip and fall. It's like if that shoe ain't right when you're walking, you definitely can have a fall. The Lord's protection does not guarantee that we will be spared from pain and sadness, but keep our hearts. Why am I reading like that? What? Keep our hearts from falling and keeping our feet on the path that leads to life in every step of the way. 100. I done told them over here 50 million, 11 times. Just stay on the path. Don't focus on what's going on around you, but stay on that path. You might get shook. You might get a little tossed around. You might have to speed up. You might have to slow down. But long as you focus on that path, and not the chaos that is, it's like we live in a world of chaos. We know this, right? And as we walk through life, our journey on our path, There's always going to be things going on around you. The moment we stop to take a look over there at what's going on, all the mess, the chaos and the things of the world that are sent to stop you from reaching purpose, that's what happens. You become stagnant and complacent, or you get held back. Sometimes harm can come when you're distracted and you decide to pay attention to the distraction versus the path. God's protection is always with us, even when we fall off the path. I don't even, do we fall off? Yeah, we fall off. Even when we fall off the path, He's still right there. His protection is there, but it's up to us to remember and continue on that path. And when it gets tough, who knows about calling on the Lord? You know what I mean? We're easily to be distracted. I get distracted all the time. And I have to shake out like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Why are you over here doing this? That ain't what you're supposed to be on. You know what I think a huge distraction for my walk is? Um, Discipline. I have discipline in some things and I have zero discipline in others. And the discipline that I don't have is the discipline that I really, really, really need. Because if I have it, I know, and that's why I say it's a distraction. Because if I have that discipline, then a lot of things will be in order. A lot of things are meant to keep us out of order so that we are stuck in a sense of, I believe, double mindedness. I'm walking my walk and I'm doing this, but there's still this right here that I'm not doing. So as long as it's almost like you're teetering, especially once you speak a thing, I need to be more disciplined in this. Once you say it, you done activated it. So once you activate it and you don't do it, that's where all the double mindedness comes in. I can't say I want to do this and then don't do it at the same time. I'm playing tug of war with myself at this point. Now I made up in my mind that this week is the week again. We do that too. We make up our mind over and over again about the same thing. Why not just put on our shoes and walk? It, what Lauren Hill say, it could all be so simple, but you rather make it hard. Evangelist Lauren said something right there. We make battles that we don't even have to have. A lot of times the enemy, and all we got to do is look in our mirror, the one you look in when you get dressed and you're ready to go hang out, to see, make sure everything fitting right and looking right and you fly, that you can pull you a shorty or a honey. That mirror, it be you. It be us. It be me. All because we're not focused on the path, but we're focused on the chaos. We're focused on the distraction. I can look at a distraction just like I can look at the eye of the stove on high and it's red. I wouldn't touch it. So why do I even allow distractions to keep me from moving forward? It's no different than not touching a hot stove. It's like, okay, that's a distraction. That's hot. Don't touch it. Like I said, it could all be so simple. So I could say, Miss Chicago, what is it that you feel you're supposed to be doing in life? And then she'll tell me. What I'm gonna say is, put those shoes on, girl, and walk. Be like, it's like our destination, which we know is predetermined by God. Imagine if all that He wants for us is good. The If we are willing to go through the some of the ups and downs, or the trials and tribulations and the bumps in the road, if we're willing to go through those things, because I believe all those things are character and strength building. If we're willing to go through those things versus tippy toeing, taking off our shoes and tiptoeing so can't nobody hear us sliding through, to try to get around those things. Just imagine if we go ahead and endure, what great things are along that path. What great things are along our path. I believe that in all our journey, there's stops, there's rest areas that we have to take that's gonna have blessings attached. There are people that we're gonna come across that we are to bless or are to bless us. But it's all about the walk, you know. A lot of times we're just, I think, like I said, fearful. We're fearful to keep going sometimes, especially if something in life happens and it's unexpected and it shakes you in a different way. You know, sometimes death of loved ones can cause you to stop walking. You know, a lot of times people do give up in their loss. You know, if I can do anything today in that sense, when it comes to losing a loved one or grieving, it would be don't stop walking. You know, when my parents passed, I had to think about life and how they would want it if they were here. That's my that's my encouragement, you know, for everything that I can think of that my parents can't be a part of in my life, you know, certain milestones. Yeah, they saw me, all my major milestones, thank God I was blessed for them to see, but I haven't been married yet, you know, so I had to grieve the idea that my parents won't be at my wedding. I chose to grieve that and say, okay, but I know they would be excited for me. I know they would be happy for me. And, you know, imagine it in that sense versus saying, man, my daddy ain't here. Because I said it. My daddy ain't here. What I need to get married for? What I need to have a wedding for? I know good and well, if I kept that attitude and say I did, okay, let's say me and my dude now. Let's say I kept that attitude and we just went to the justice. Eventually, I was going to regret that. So I had to put myself in a place of um, almost like you're dedicating things that your loved one is missing as in memory of, you know what I'm saying? A dedication to, in order to keep on walking through versus just laying down and dying with them even though you're alive, you know. We all have a sun up and sun down. And I think that was the thing that really helped me a lot to understand that if I don't continue on my journey because I lost the two most important people in the world to me, my sundown could catch me. Cause I gotta go one day too. You know, I'm at the point now where I want to walk this thing out. I want to make sure I got on the right shoe. I want to make sure it fit and is as comfortable as possible. I want to make sure that it's equipped for all terrain. Why did I see a shoe on TikTok, y'all, where you could screw off the heel and make it a flat? Maybe that's what our spiritual shoes look like. We can change the soles as needed, you know. The shoe fits, we got to wear it. Let's walk. But for every different terrain that we got to tread upon, we could get that, you know, God could change that soul to navigate that thing. So yes, we can put on our stilettos when we need to stomp through like a boss lady. But then, you know, guys, when y'all gotta go through like the hard worker, he could turn your casual flat into a steel toe boot so you can kick down doors. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, if the shoe fits, let it match your terrain. Let it transform into everything that you need as you walk, your covering, your protection, your GPS. When you feel like walking one way, let them shoes be like, no, snatch you over here and keep on walking. Imagine if you had those, like that's how it worked. You know, we had on some shoes and we on our journey and we were like, ooh, a shiny nickel. Let me go over there and see this nickel, and then God just zapped that shoe. I imagine maybe that's what he do, but he zapped that shoe and he'd be like, no nickels. And you'd be like, okay, okay. Y'all have a weird sense of humor with stuff like this, but I really do mean that, you know, perhaps we need to look at our walk in that sense. What type of footwear, what type of relationship do we have with God? Because at the end of the day, He orders our steps. He gives us that what we need to walk. Hey, Gary, we can make a analogy about a literal shoe, but we all know that it's not. I think our call is catered to us. What we're supposed to do along our path is catered to us. So as long as we say yes, that shoe should fit. And if the shoe fits, why not wear it? If you are called to do something for the kingdom of God, why not walk in it? A lot of times, life. Hey, Tashana. A lot of times we want to be in control. We want to be in control. We take off our spiritual shoes and put on the shoes of choice, and we go out walking. And a lot of times we get our butt beat because we wasn't equipped. That's like putting on your whole armor and then forgetting your sword, forgetting your chest plate. That's not the whole armor. So when we take off those shoes that are meant for us and put on, let's say, our spiritual shoes versus our carnal shoes, and we begin to walk in that carnal way, we take L's. I don't know if if you can be honest with yourself, when you operate in the flesh versus the spirit, you be having fun in the carnal. You be turned. However, however, in the carnal, you be getting bruises. Y'all ever just been chilling and then happen to look down one day and you got a big old bruise on your thigh and you don't recall hitting it and you don't really know it's there until it hurt. I always would get a bruise on my thigh and I could never figure out where the heck it was coming from until one day I turned my chair at the shop and the handle would hit my leg. And I think I was so used to that hit, that blow, I didn't even think about it. I became accustomed to that blow over and over again till I would look down and I'd be bruised. That's exactly what happens when we operate in the carnal. We become accustomed to that way. We become accustomed to the mess, and it's fun and it's delightful. It tastes good. It smells good. It feels real good. But then you wind up weeks, months, years later, bruised. All because we chose to take off the shoes that were given to us by God. We chose to take a pit stop on our walk. We chose not to keep walking when we should have. We chose our own route. I think life has a lot of I'm gonna say there's one path, but I think that in a sense, the way I see route in my mind, it's like there's this one path, but it shifts. But you don't leave off the path. It might go up, it might go down, it might go on a curve, it might, do all types of things. It might turn to rocks, it might turn to ice. But that path don't change. Direction may even change. But if you're on the right path, you're not going to be in the wrong direction. But if you step off that path, you can likely go into the wrong direction. Hold on, y'all. My baby asked for some candy about 10 minutes ago, and I just been flapping my gums. I'll be right back. Gary, commercial break. Okay, y'all. Man, I don't know if that was on my path or not, but I had to go through a lot to get that candy. I couldn't reach it. I wasn't tall enough. My arms wasn't long enough. Standing on my toes wasn't enough, so I had to get the chair. Then I questioned the sturdiness of the chair. I was scared, y'all. I ain't have fear, but I was scared. But then I noticed my knees felt a little wobbly. I said, Lord, I need some strength in these knees. I got up there, I found the candy. I didn't give up. I got the candy. Y'all don't even know how, that was extraneous. Out for some now laters. Okay, let me go and see what some of this is saying. Virginia, some of us are afraid of nothing but our truth. Absolutely. That's why they say the truth hurt. And also, when I took a Deliverance 101 class, the one thing the man always said, if you want to see a demon manifest, tell it the truth. You ever notice how a lot of times if you talk about God or if you talk about the word, you always get those things that come up and be like, oh, if this and that, y'all pray to the white Jesus. And, just all those crazy things just start popping up. As a result, you get conflict. You're talking about the goodness of God, but you get pushback, negative pushback, because you're talking the truth. That's why we got to be bold and not waver in our truth. He is the truth, the way, and the life. So if somebody comes and says something, you can't dummy it down because of what they said. Nah, you got to put 10 toes down and say it with your chest louder. That's what it came to do, is to stop you. And if we continue to be afraid of our own truth, which is we are all here to serve a purpose. We are all here for each other. All of us may not cross a path ever in life, but each other, no matter what, is connected all around the world. Each other, one another. Many people don't want to walk in their truth because of that, because then they have to deal with people they wouldn't necessarily want to deal with, maybe. They have to be the bigger person in a lot of senses. Um, a lot of people sometimes have to be a parent to their parent. So they live in resentment. At the end of the day, we have to stay focused on our journey. Have to. Brief commercial break. How was everyone in the chat in bushes Thursday? Hello, Gary. Yeah, that's it, Tashana. Shut up. They want you to shut up. Or they start questioning your belief. Well, if this is that. Like, I learned that I will not compromise my belief, no matter what the next person believes. I won't even disrespect you for what you believe. But what you're not going to do is try to question me to discount my belief. You're not going to discount my God because you don't believe. That's where we're going to be like, we're going to respect each other. I'm like, I don't care what you say. People are like, well, what is this? And what is this? I know exactly what they're trying to say. And you know what I say? I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. He is my Lord and personal Savior. I don't care what they're talking about. That's my word, and I'm sticking to it. The race isn't given to the swift nor the strong, but and he who endures to the end. I was just saying that, like, we got to be able to put on those shoes that navigate that path, no matter what that path does, we got to endure the path, not get sidetracked, not veer off to the right or the carnal side. Like I said, on the carnal side, we all know it's fun. Everybody is in a different place in life. Some people aren't as serious. Some people are a work in progress, we say all the time. I don't know why we be saying that, because that's like an excuse not to do something, but I'm going to leave that right there for those that feel like they're a work in progress. If you're a work in progress, are you actively working to get through that process so that you're no longer just a work in progress? We're always going to be in a process, but we ain't always got to be. I don't think we always got to be a work in progress. That's like when you turn on your computer and it's booting up. Eventually, it's gonna come on, and you're gonna be able to work and keep it moving. But if something's wrong with that computer, what you can't do anything if it continues to buffer instead of starting up. So to me, that's what work in progress looks like. A buffer. You know how the little circle come on your computer and it's just spinning and spinning because it's buffering, trying to get a signal, trying to get started, trying to jump on. And sometimes you got to do a hard reset, reboot, and press the power again and go. You know what I mean? Stop saying I'm a work in progress without moving. I don't think we can have faith with saying I'm a work in progress. You don't even believe enough to move. If you're in progress, move. Progress means to don't that mean you got to move forward? So are you a work in progress to remain the same? Are you actively trying to change? Are you trying to process through that progression? What are we doing? God ain't finished with me yet. He ain't finished with me either, but I know what you mean, girl. They be saying that. God ain't through with me yet. Another excuse when you know you done did something wrong that you shouldn't have did. The conviction don't cut them like it cut some of us. Well, I guess they cut be like, well, he know my heart. That's my favorite one. We better stop saying that because I think we read wasn't that in that Proverbs I was reading the other day, Gary, where he's talking about he know our heart. Basically, all the filthy, evil things is in our heart that we don't be knowing. When you did what you did and said he know my heart, you meant to do it. He knew you meant it. But we'll say that as if we can hide it from God. You can't hide evil doing from God with he know my heart. You either evil or you ain't. Evil or you ain't. Y'all, let me tell y'all. I think I'm so adamant about, staying on our walk and, you know, being equipped to move. If nothing else, just move. Seeking God. I'm more and more I need to seek him because have you ever had something happen in life and you don't really understand it? But then on the flip side, I'm looking like I know I need to be seeking a little more. I know I need to be spending a little more time with God. I know I need to be in his word a little more because some things I should understand. Better yet, something happened and you're trying to figure it out and you didn't never once stop and say, what happened, God? What was that about? What was that about? True life story. Y'all know I often talk about the encounters I have at Amazon. And don't y'all laugh at me. But I often talk about the encounters I have with the younger people, sometimes older people, but a lot of younger people. We just fall into these conversations and I know that it's God ministering to them. Because some of the stuff I'll be like, huh? But oh, thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. Um so when I work, I always have a partner. So it's like I do one job, they do the other side of the job. And usually as that person comes or when I pull up, I introduce myself. Hey, I'm Meek. What's your name? Nice to meet you. So that way when I have to tell them, hey, I got a gym, and if they don't see the screen, hey, so and so, clear A 101, something like that. I know their name. I like to say their name. I don't like to just scream out like, hey, which is just rude. But anywho, I've had many encounters where I talk to somebody and I get them, I call them Holy Spirit chills. I get those chills. I get them, I know what they are. I get them. Okay. So I walk in the other day, not last night, but the night before. And the young lady is already back there hard at work, and I'm like, oh, okay, I like her. She come to work. She ready. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, hi. I'm like, I'm Meek. What's your name? Oh, I'm Essence. Nice to meet you. Okay. And I got cold. Them chills came, and I'm like, oh Lord. Hey, Leon. And so I'm talking to her, a little, small talk, and the chill was so. I kept trying to shake my arm, because I don't be like I don't. Usually, if I feel it, I can keep it from being visible to the person I'm talking to. So I started shaking my arm because it was just like bone chilling, like biting. I don't know. It was strong. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just trying to shake it off, thinking like, okay, to leave. I'm shaking my arm. All of a sudden, I'm like, whoa. And I was like, man, who are you? She looked at me, huh? I'm like, girl, I said, listen. I said, don't think I'm strange, but usually when I meet somebody that carry something heavy, or I said, you love God? She said, absolutely. I said, there's something about you. I said, and it is quite powerful. And she's pregnant with her first child. It's a boy. And I'm asking her, I'm like, oh, it's a boy. I said, what you naming him? She told me the baby's name. Y'all, I just couldn't even contain it anymore. I had tears just flying out my eyeballs. And I'm like, oh my God, you're a baby cracker. And she was like, I said, I don't know what it is. I said, it's just something about you. And, we done hugged, at this point. This is how I be with strangers. We done hugged at this point. Let me gather myself. Okay, I come back to work. The whole time I just kept thinking, what was that about? And that's why I said, I know I have to get more intimate with God, because once he starts allowing things to happen, let's say I've been having those chills for a while. That was something else added to that chill. I know what the chill is about. Now I need to understand, I guess, the more in-depth side of that, or the details of it. I don't know, but the whole time I just kept, like, I was just thinking like that was so weird. Why would I cry? What came over me? And I started to think about, how the empath thing, and I'm like, how does this relate to me? Far as a believer. I don't want to be the empath that operates in the other way. But I know that it's a thing. And I haven't always had that. So that's another thing that's always like, oh my goodness. But well, the chill started around 2015. But this was so strong that, like I said, it moved me to tears. But just in small talk with the young lady, we were talking about weight loss, because I don't like to do the other side of the job because I just don't like doing it. But that day I said I need to lose. Well, the day before I said I need to lose some weight. I'm about to start back doing, switching to the other side too, so I can get more active. And I was telling her, we was laughing about that. I said, shoot, I got to lose some weight. She was like, yeah, I lost a lot of weight when I lost my brother to suicide. And it was not until last night it hit me. I said, I think that baby was sad and she probably needed a hug. Because whatever it was, I felt it to the fullest. I ain't hiding from nobody. The phone is on the bed. You're so funny. Let me go and look at something. God ain't finished with me. Okay, I already read that one. Go forward and yeah, that's what I wanted to read. Go forward in progression. The opposite is regress. That's why I said use the word improve and not change. Because you can change for the worse, but never improve for the worse. And at the end of the day, it's a change. No, I'm just kidding. Gary, we ain't had to fight in a long time. You want to fight? You want to fight? That's why I say it, but it's like I have to get understanding, because we know that there's, in spiritual things, there are good spiritual things and there are bad spiritual things. So I need to know how it relates to me in my walk, for as, being an empath. I don't know if that's, I just need to study the empath, because if you mess around with the world, you'll wake up thinking you're a witch because you're an empath. So I need to have a better understanding for myself, so I got to gain a little knowledge. But It was so strong. I was like, whoa. It was just crazy. Like, man. And I didn't want to tell my dude, but I wanted to tell him. I was like, we was in the middle of the story, y'all. And I was like, guess what happened to me? He was like, what? I said, please don't laugh at me. I was like, for real. Then I had told him. He was like, you gonna start crying. I was like, yes. And I was like, but I don't get it. And then, I told him everything I just told y'all, I told him. He didn't laugh at me, but I think he's starting to get that at me because we'll be sitting in church and I'll start shaking like that, shaking my arm like, whoo. He be like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, Jesus here. The other night, y'all, I was watching this TikTok video. It was a lighter skinned brother. And he was like, anoint your home. And, he just had this whole spiel. I mean, I see these videos all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Did I tell you about that the other day? It was like 2:30 in the morning, man. I don't know why he convicted that video. I'm gonna say he convicted me, but that video brought forth I'm not conviction. It compelled me so strong. I jumped up, grabbed the oil, said prayer, and I just went to work. All the doors, the window sills, the foreheads, everybody in here on a pillow got it that night. And I was laughing because at the end I slapped my own forehead like, oh, yeah, he wasn't playing. You feel people's pain. I think I feel pain, but not in the physical in a sense. You know what I mean? Like I feel their pain, but it don't hurt maybe. But then again, sometimes, like I said, I gotta really I gotta seek God on that because like when you feel pain, sometimes it's not your pain. Because they say, like, I mean, they say it says that we'll do the things that Christ did and more. Now, I believe that's simply because we have more time to do. He only had a certain amount of time. But we would do those things that he did, which is, heal the sick, raise the dead. People don't believe none of that happens these days. People don't get delivered from spirits. They don't believe none of that stuff, but I do. And what I know is that any given moment, he'll use any of us for what he needs. Healing is what I'm thinking about because we was talking about feeling other people's pain. And we all can heal, but we all won't be used to heal at the same time or all the time. Some people, I believe, have just that type of power. But because people would say, oh, if we can all heal, why couldn't I lay hands on my grandma and heal her? Well, he wasn't using you to heal that day. Or maybe you did heal her, but it was her time. I prayed and prayed for my daddy to be healed from cancer, and I believe he passed away cancer free. I can't change God's will, but that don't mean he didn't answer my prayer. But I know that when we feel pain sometimes, if you're in a room with somebody, we should ask them, are you having pain in your, like if your shoulder start hurting, but you don't have no issue with your shoulder, but your shoulder hurting. Somebody around you, you need to ask somebody if they got pain in their shoulder and pray for them. When I tell you I had we did a class, well, it was a class one day, a hair class, but continuing education. And it's this girl named Cheryl Nance. Cheryl Nance is highly anointed hairstylist. I don't care what class you take with Cheryl, it's going to go to church. And this particular day, we went to church. And that was right around the time I first started feeling them chills. And I was fresh off of and I think I was telling y'all the other day, I used to be the conference chick. I believe every conference I went to served a purpose, but I don't believe that at this moment that I'm called to go to any conferences, if that makes sense. But they all served a purpose in everything that I was being taught by God. I believe God teaches us so we don't have to question if he's real. We don't have to look to man to prove to us he's real. He'll give you your own experience to know he's real so that when somebody else, tries to make you doubt it, it's like, there's nothing you can say to me that would ever make me believe that my God ain't real because blue, blue, blue. So in my conference seasons, I don't know if you guys know, it's a Caucasian guy named Todd White. I think that's his name. He got dreads, but I first seen that man. He's an evangelist. I seen him. It was a movie. I know one of them was called The Finger of God, and the other one I can't think of the name of the other ones, but it was like a part one and two. They were on Netflix back in the day. They taken those movies off, but they would go into like non-Christian territory and pray for people, and like some of those people would be of different faiths, and they would give their lives or whatever, and they would go out evangelizing and like, I'm sensing someone has knee pain, maybe talk to somebody with a cast on, and they would pray for healing. So I seen where he was going to be in New Jersey, and like unlike a lot of other conferences, their conference is only like $40. And if you didn't have money, you could sign this paper. Basically, they would let you, they would get you a sponsor that would pay for the ticket and come. You could come. Unlike a lot of these other conferences, if you want like $400, you ain't getting no sponsor. They ain't got no help, assistance, or nothing. But anyhow, I knew I couldn't get to Jersey. And I was on one of these lives one night, and I seen a man like, "Oh, I can't wait to see you in Columbus, Georgia." I lived in Charleston. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that with 100%, Tashana. Now, after my dad, I believe it. Yeah, because in the hold my place mark, Gary, with the Columbus, Georgia. Um, in the hospice when my daddy was, his last week of life when I was there with him, one night the lady came in, they came in to clean him. It was like the lady and a guy. And she started looking at his legs all crazy like. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" She was like, "I mean, oh, nothing, but he had a lot of red marks on his legs, and I don't see him." So she asking the dude, "Do you see him over there?" He like, "No." And I'm just rocking in this chair, and I start laughing. And she was like, "Wow, it's crazy." And I would hear them, and I'm like, "Yeah, there's healing in this room." And that's just the way I was. And I would hear him in the hallway. "Gosh, I didn't think this man was going to be here tomorrow. And his vitals, they're here, and they've been here ever since." My daddy held the same vitals for a whole week before he passed. I was supposed to dance with my dad at my wedding. I told him he wasn't getting out of that, so I danced with him right in his hospice bed. And then 30 minutes before he died, me and my kids was on the phone with him, and we prayed for him and told him we was gonna be all right. Got to thank him and everything. 30 minutes later, he went on. I know my father passed away, healed, and I believe that that was part of his healing. His total healing was to go and be with the Lord. Because even prior to that, I asked him if he wanted to share anything with me. He said, "No, just pray for my soul." I literally went through the prayer of salvation with him. All my life, I felt like my daddy was saved. But at the same time, I don't know. All I know is he asked, and that's what we did. Maybe 3 months later, I said, "What if he wasn't?" And I didn't. So, yeah. Anywho, back to the Columbus, Georgia. um, hey, Selena. So I was on one of the lives one night, and this man was like, he's looking forward to seeing him in Columbus, Georgia. So me being in Charleston, I look it up. Columbus, Georgia is like 6.5 hours. I'm like, psh, I'm going. It was a hurricane coming to Charleston anyway, so that was perfect. I jumped my butt on the road. I ain't know what Columbus, Georgia was. Columbus, Georgia is like, when you get to Columbus, Georgia, you can go over the railroad track and you're in Alabama. But anyway, I went. And when I tell y'all, this was an experience of a lifetime. This is like out of all the conferences I done been to. People criticize Todd White, like, "Oh, he's false," and all this stuff. They criticize him. But out of all the conferences I done been to the Reset, to the Kyle Woman, and all these different conferences. I would say this one and the Kyle was the two that were life changing and have something that I still move in, operate, and help me today. But at um every day at the conference, like it was 3 days. So you would go in and it'd be like, I guess like morning service in a sense. And it would be a different teacher there. And they would kind of just talk to you about um the prophetic and evangelism and things like that. And it might have been like a activation. Then for lunch, we'll go out for like 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours. And they was like, anybody feel they're bold in the room? Because we about to go out and evangelize while we go out to lunch. We going in the streets to do what we've been talking about all morning. So I'm not bold like that. So what they did was had everybody that was bold raise their hand, and then people that didn't feel as bold, find one of those people, to get in one of the groups. So that's what we did. And the one thing they taught us was before you go, just pray, Holy Spirit, which way should I go? Lead me, however we're gonna do our prayer. And I remember because I'm so inward with so much, I prayed and I saw chalkboards, but I didn't say nothing to my group. So here we go with the bold one, walking and walking. And the man was walking up and down the street like, you have healing, you have pain in your knee. He asking everybody, do you have pain in your knee? And the whole time I'm keeping it to myself about these chalkboards. But I didn't know. I know what I saw, but I didn't, for some reason I didn't say, I just didn't say, maybe because I'm not that bold. I wasn't that bold, rather. I didn't say, hey, y'all, I see chalkboards. Because that would have indicated, look for the chalkboards. Anywho, we walk and we run into like this soccer team. I think they were from the Philippines or something. It was cool. We stopped, we talked to them about God, ministered, we prayed with them and all that good stuff. About 20 minutes, we get the walk in. All of a sudden, up and down the sidewalk, all I see in front of the storefronts is those signs, the chalkboards. Be like sale 50% off. I'm like, oh my God, I saw chalkboards. I should have said something, and when we was talking to people there, it was kind of like, oh, somebody came through here. So what I learned in that sense was not to ignore what God shows me the first time. And so then the whole day, the man is asking people, because what they tell sometimes you feel other people's pain. If you feel the pain, ask somebody, are they experiencing pain in their knee? Can I pray for you? So we walking. This man just was like, this was the bold one now. Do you have pain in your knee? Do you have pain in your knee? And it was a younger girl from Texas with us, and she was so full of life and joy. She was actually the bold one in the group. He wanted to be the bold one, but she was the bold one. But anywho, we get to the restaurant. And if you've ever, been in a like a they call it prophetic activation. It's just really, to me, encouragement to stir your spirit to be sensitive to what God's saying at any given moment. So we in the restaurant, and the waiter came over, and I started to sense something for him, and I started to talk to him about school. I didn't know the boy from Adam, but everything I said was on point. So here's the man. He's still in there talking about, do you have knee pain in your knee? So here he is. We sitting there waiting on our food, and he's rubbing his knee. Oh, my knee. Whew. So I turned to him and I looked at him. I said, do you have pain in your knee? Yeah, but people prayed for me, and I fell out of a tree when I was 21, and I got a pin in my knee. And I'm just looking at him like, are you nuts? Like, you really got a pain in your knee. It's not someone else's pain. Nevertheless, me and the girl prayed for his knee. I can't remember what happened with that, but I was still tickled the fact that he was asking, hey, you got literal pain, buddy. You're not feeling somebody else's pain. And that's when I realized the young lady was the bold one and he wasn't. But yeah. So that was the backdrop for when I got introduced to praying for people's pain. Because even on that trip, another group I was in, I prayed for this girl's ear in Arby's. Because we was at the register and she kept turning her head. Like when the people was ordering their food, let's say she was turning her head to the right so she could hear. And we most time we can look at a person face to face and hear what they're saying. But it was like every time she turned her head, my body would turn. I wasn't turning my body, but my body, every time she turned her head, my body was turning. So I'm like, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah. I said, are you having a problem with it was her left ear. Are you having a problem with your left ear? And she looked at me kind of strange. She was like, yeah, how do you know? And I'm all looking at her like, God told me. And so I was with an older lady and a boy that was like 14. And I asked her if I could pray for her ear. So she ended up coming from around the thing. And we basically just started praying for her the way they showed us at the conference. And the young boy was like, I'm praying for her ear. Like, pain, we command you to go now in the name of Jesus. Any pain that is in her body that has been, we command it to leave. We like that. And then the guy's name was Vince. That young boy, he got in a bold mode. He said, Holy Spirit, allow her to feel electricity down the front of her face or something like that. Why she started, like, sweat just started popping off her nose. And we looked at each other like, oh my God. Man, this was such a cool experience. But that's why I say, can nobody tell me God ain't real, For the simple fact is when I begin to seek, He everything I sought out. Everything I asked Him to experience, He showed me or He allowed me to experience it. And what I was saying to you, Tashana, is sometimes when you feel pain, you want to ask people around you if they're experiencing pain so you can pray. Because I promise you, you pray for that pain. If you feeling it and they having it, more than likely it's going to leave. So here we are in Cheryl Lynn's class and it's going to church. And I start getting them chills. And I'm turning around just telling people like, yeah, you're going to da-da-da. It's this girl to this day. She's sitting in the shop I told her about at that class. And then my arm was hurting. I'm like, anybody in here experiencing pain in their wrist? It was like 2 people. I prayed for them. Both of them. Wrist healed. So don't take those things lightly. You know what I mean? Yeah, Selena. Um, even though it's funny because I don't know if you was here any of the times where I said I used to not pray. And it wasn't because I wasn't saved or I didn't believe in God. I used to feel weird praying, I know I'm talking to God, but I'm sitting here talking and I feel like I'm talking to myself. So, in the old days, they take you talk to yourself. You're crazy, So it was just like some weird misconception in my head, which didn't allow me to pray past now lay me down to sleep and God is good, God is great. Thank you for the food, Yeah. And I couldn't pray in the natural. And it took for my mom to get sick and a bad breakup. It was just like so much stuff was on me. I used to work at a shop and they were pastors. It was on me so tough, I had to just talk to her. And she was like, how often do you pray? And I had to be honest. I'm like, I don't. And that particular night, we went to a concert, Canton Jones. And I was supposed to win with that ex, the one that broke up with me. And of course, I had to go with my friend, but I took a friend with me. And in that particular night, I had this breakdown and I cried out and I asked God for my heavenly language. And that was the night when I received the gift of tongues. Like I said, can't nobody tell me God ain't real. But ever since that time, I've been able to pray. So what I had to do was learn how to pray in the natural. I got spiritual before the natural. So I'm still working on praying in natural. But having said all that, I was going to this church in Charleston and they was putting together an intercessory team. And so, like in church where they have corporate prayer when you first come in. I don't know if your church do that, but I think most of them do. But my friend was the only one doing corporate prayer at the time. So she was building a team. And basically that team was built off of whoever the Holy Spirit told her that was supposed to be on this thing. And I was one of the people, and I'm looking at her like she crazy. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you need to be on the intercessory team. I'm like, I'm not going to get up on that stage and pray because I just learned how to pray. I'm still learning. I'm like panicking, like, what? I understand it. I end up leaving that church. But before I left, um, there was this other lady. I used to go to church sometime. She'd come to our shop. So you know how you get invited. I would go sometime. And I told her, I said, man, why is this phone doing that? I was like, guess what the lady said ministry she wanted me to be on? And she was like, intercessor. I'm like, what? So you're probably right, Selena. But I still just didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what kicked me into practicing to pray. I would go in that room. I'd be in there 2 hours thinking I'm practicing, but in all, it was training, I think. It was God training me. I thought I was practicing. And I didn't have no understanding. It's like I would do whatever I felt that he was wanting me to do. If I saw something, I would pray about it. If I felt something, I'd pray about it. I mean, I done been in the room and seen Kanye West, what's his name? The one that the girl was married to, Odom, Lamar Odom. It was weird, but every time I seen the face, I just started praying for the person. I don't know what I was praying. I just prayed. But it took for when I was my church that I was going to before I moved here, they were starting in Charlotte. So that when they were starting the church, we were like on the ground level of starting everything. So we had class, like every month they would do a service. But on Friday and Saturday we had classes. And one of the classes was the intercessor and prayer classes. And in that class, I received all the understanding of everything I went through in that room, which was probably like 3 years later. So I'm still, look, Tashana, I'm a work in progress now. I'm still processing through that, but I put on those shoes, which is the gist of this video, little basic concept we was talking about earlier. That was what I pressed play to talk about, is wearing the shoes of the things you're called in. You can't put on somebody else's shoes. You can't put on shoes too big. Can't put them on too tight. You got to put on the shoes that you are called to have on and walk. The importance of that fit being right. The importance of your yes is basically what that shoe is. That baby out there singing. I don't know what she's singing, but she be singing. But anywho, yeah, that was the gist of that. But it's so much. Like, I think when people get so deep, you miss a lot of things. Hey, God gives us revelation every single day. But if it don't seem deep enough, then we miss it. Unfortunately. A lot of us are taught that things are magical and mystical, and sometimes it's just point blank, period. Point blank, period. You know how they be like, it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. It's simple. We were talking about Lauren here earlier, Evangelist Lauren. It could all be so simple, but we rather make it hard. We choose to make things hard most of the time when it's hard. Time out for that, man. We should be on easy street. We shouldn't be looking at what others are doing, how it's going for them. Because we could look at somebody and see such greatness, but in all reality, their life is a living hell. That's why you'll never see me talking about, oh, I want to live like T.I. and Tiny. I want to live like, why? They be laying up with a bunch of people. They ain't, you never know. We see what we see. We don't know how people really are. So you might see a person, you feel like, oh, she is so blessed. But they really living a life of torment because they're being blessed by the opposite of what you believe. It's something being shown to you to make you think, to prey on that little weakness in you that's in that has that spirit of competition where you're looking at somebody else and thinking like, man, I want that. I should have that because why she got it and I don't? Because she might have got it from the wrong source. Because he got you covered and she's out here reprobate or something. She's going to take a fall while you're trying to be like her. Or maybe she is blessed. But she had to go through some things that you ain't even equipped to go through to get those things. We got to walk our own walk, go through our own journey, answer our own yes instead of trying to move in somebody else's. It don't work like that. And Selena hit me in the head the way she worded it. It ain't that it's the intercessor, a spiritual gift. I think that's the way, because I never really looked at it like a spiritual gift for some reason. I don't know. I guess I never thought about it any kind of way. I just didn't. Today it hit different. I guess I was supposed to see that in that way. Yeah, that's how that goes. Yeah, but man, I've been flapping my gums for an hour and something. Y'all know how it is. I come in to say what I gotta say, and then I just go from there. Blah, 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 blah. Babbling along. Something gonna come out of it, I promise you. If I'm talking, something gonna come. A revelation, an idea, a thought. Something be brought to your remembrance, like Selena just did me with the intercession gift. But it's always cool to see other people, like how Tashana said, she feel other people's pain. A lot of people will have that and be thinking they weird or crazy, but I think it's always cool to be able to see people that are like you. That is not weird. It's normal in a sense. You know what I mean? Some people feel things and don't even understand what they feel. They can't articulate what they're feeling. But it's dope that you can, you know. You know. Everybody don't know. Going back to see if I miss anything. Yeah, but anywho, I done promised this girl we was gonna do this video. It's gonna be so basically I'll be back on here because I'm gonna let her come on here and we're gonna do it so that anybody in the chat can offer up encouragement, because what I deal with is a 10-year-old who I think has some self-esteem issues, but we all know that 10 years old is way too young to be conscious about dark rings under your eyes and weight, so we're going to talk about where our beauty is, and how what's on the inside matters versus what's on the outside, and how you're beautiful even with flaws. So I'm going to uncover the flaw I have that I can't stand, that I cover up every single day, but not because I just cover it up, but I still embrace it at the same time, if that makes sense. But I'm going to, make sure that I'm showing my true skin so that she can understand what I'm saying. Yeah, we was talking about that earlier, Selena, before you came in, because I told them a story about how when I work with somebody at work, I always introduce myself to my partner so I can call them by name if I need something. And when I introduced myself to the young lady, I had my telling chills to come over my body, and usually I can shake it off. I know when somebody love God or God really loves them, because those chills be
they come on me, you anointed, or something like that, I get a super chill. And this particular night, I could not shake the chill, and it shook me to tears. Right in front of this girl, I just break out in tears. I'm like, oh my God. But needless to say, I had learned in the night that she lost her brother to suicide. So last night, I was just thinking that I believe that there was a level of sadness on that young lady. Maybe that it was either that, a level of sadness she had from the loss of her brother, or the baby she was carrying is a powerful little soul. But it was something on it that I felt, and it was strong. And I was saying that I'm embracing the empath thing, but I need to look more into it, because there's a thin line with the spiritual aspect of things. So where when you say empath, most of us on this side of believing is going to automatically think of the other spiritual side of empath, because a lot of times, in the Christian world, we don't call ourselves empaths, but I know that has to be not true, so it's like I need to understand as it relates to me and Jesus, for myself, because I ain't always had it, but I definitely, yeah, it's a weird thing to have. But I would always hear people say it, and I'm like, wait a minute, man, not this too. You know what I mean? But anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and get this day started. Oh, matter of fact, we're gonna come on live and do that video today. We're gonna go out, and she probably don't. We'll probably take her to lunch, and we're gonna go out and get the stuff that we're gonna use to clean our face, and then yeah, because she already said what we doing today. I'm looking like, why we gotta do something? Girl, I feel like I'm raising my grandkids. But anywho, as always, I hope that something I said today, uh, that you guys can relate. Where the comment thing here? I don't know. I don't want to start a poll. I'm gonna kick myself out of YouTube. But anyway, I hope something I said today resonated with you, gave you some